everybody, and welcome to. I guess this is on the back hash.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah.
uh,
Maybe I don't know what has happened.
I don't know.
Been gone for a month. It's
Yeah, it's
weird.
been a minute. My name is Cedric. Joined with, as usual, Chris, Zach, and William.
Ooh,
How's everybody doing?
it's hot.
Listen,
Why is it
it's
hot in
Oh, it feels
it's
October?
great here
actually
today.
kind of cool
Oh,
here today, which
Yeah,
is
it is in the
a
80s here.
blessing.
I
Well, it's
don't
like low 60s
understand the
here.
state. Like y'all were supposed to keep all of that in the South.
I was supposed to stay cool because
We was. It
Earth.
is eight. It is 81
Latitude.
right now.
Well, I saw like California, they're under like fire advisories again because of the heat wave that's coming through over there. So
I feel like California's always on fire.
No, we're on fire all the time.
yeah, I say they're
Every
bad
time
up
I
there
turn
too.
the news on, it's like Jesus.
Old Leroy forgot to put out his cigarette and dropped it into the forest.
Where's
Down he
Smokey the
went.
Bear when you need him?
Right?
Um,
He got things done. That's what he did.
He did. That he did. So we are smack dab in the middle of high school marching band season. Uh,
yes,
Lots of that stuff. So we're going to talk a little bit about BOA today. But as I mentioned in a previous episode that you can find on YouTube, DCI is trying to be like the NFL and be relevant all year long. Um, it is a thing that is currently happening now. I mean, you can hear news about everything. I think people were making staff announcements right after retreat
Right?
because,
during
like,
retreat, they were
yeah,
texting during
Just
retreat.
like the
yeah,
NFL, you
people
fired,
were,
you
Like,
fired.
people were
like,
getting
hey,
as medals were
that's gonna
getting
be
put
our
around necks.
visual caption head next year.
Get them paid and get them off the bus.
Right?
so, so this news is kind of happening throughout the year, and probably some really big. Ain't no probably to it. It is big news with DCI, as we all know. Dan Anderson retired after this past season, and DCI has found their replacement. So, Chris, take
Yeah.
it away.
Yeah. So we decided to do some interviews, and as we're doing interviews and stuff, we're taking a little bit of a break. This news broke, what, 3 weeks ago, something like that, I think. That they found their replacement, and it's very interesting in the direction. So I'm just going to read um, a little bit about who it is, and then we'll kind of go from there. So this is I found this on Flow Marching. This announcement is it says Drum Corps International announced that Nate Bordeaux or Bourdreau, I think it's Bourdreau, will step in as into the CEO role starting on November 1st, 2023. And he will be the fourth CEO in DCI history. Um, a couple things about this is that uh, he was the executive director and CEO of USA Water Ski and Wake Sports. He also was the director of corporate partnerships at the American College of Sports Medicine and a communications marketing business development for USA Football. And so we're getting someone that is non DCI related, I would say, with that. But was also interesting with this press release was that Atchison will remain with DCI uh, uh, till like November 1st. Like that whole thing, like he's going to make sure the transition. I don't know how long he's going to be there as of November 1st. Uh, we'll see how that goes, but Atchison is still going to hang on just for a little bit, make sure the transition works well. Quote from Bourdreau, he says, "I'm thrilled with the opportunity. Atchison has done a great job of positioning organization for a seamless transition. I'm excited to immerse myself in everything DCI while also bringing some new and innovative ideas that I feel will resonate with the membership as well as participants within the marching arts." So we have a new CEO for DCI. What are we thinking?
So he was a previous president of the Underwater Basket Weaving Committee. Is that what I
Yes,
heard?
yes. No,
Okay.
CEO,
Jesus.
right? Just
Jeez.
on blast.
God.
No, I
USA
was just
water
trying to
and
be
water
funny.
ski and wake sports. Which,
Water skiing.
if you know anything about
But that sounded interesting.
like the Olympic
I'd have
like
watched it.
Olympic structure or whatever, each
Hmm.
each organization within the Olympics has its own like thing, right? So like me being a disc golf freak or whatever, it's under frisbee sports. So like they decide which sports they try to bring into the Olympics. So that's kind of like, so what I'm guessing is his thing was to run that organization for like their national championships and all that stuff, and then try to get it promoted into the Olympics, or they'll have like the World Games, stuff like that they host throughout, you know, off season Olympics and stuff. So he did that. He's also director of corporate partnerships, School of Medicine, American College of Sports Medicine, and then communications and marketing business for USA Football. So I'm guessing that's like that league that like was here and then folded and came back again. Is that thing, or is it just, I don't know what that is. I'm gonna look that up because I'm curious with that. So as I do that, what do you guys think?
Um, one, I'm wondering if um, DCI reached out to him or did he apply? Like, I'm wondering kind of who was interested in who.
Hmm.
Um,
Because if he applied, that sounds like not many did.
well,
Because
that could be. Go ahead.
if you're looking, well, not to not hating on them or anything, but if you're looking at a perspective of, okay, you want somebody who knows the activity to run it in a sense. You see what I'm saying? Like, you would think that if there were five people that apply, let's just random hypothetically say, but four of them had DCI, marching band, all kinds of all that experience, but he
Hmm.
doesn't. You see what I'm saying? Like, it would seem like those other applications would have more qualifications than he did, theoretically.
Talk about like
Well,
on the band, on the like core side of the
Hmm.
things.
Yeah.
Kind of. So
well,
like,
it.
if DCI is looking for was looking for somebody that has been a part of this or around it, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I
It may not
feel
be coming
like,
out right, but
yeah, you're saying it's weird that somebody who's not connected to the activity at all ended up getting it because you would assume or you would think that someone who has been
right,
through the activity would have the upper hand in that
right.
process
In
because they
sense,
know the ins and outs of the activity. But
yeah,
I would argue that maybe they didn't hire somebody from within the activity on purpose because they need somebody who's going to come in with a fresh set of
that's true too.
perspectives and run it like a business rather than, well, this is what's always happened, so we're going to continue to do it that way.
Yeah,
Um, especially when we have so many cores that are having financial issues and other issues and things like that. It's like maybe they do need somebody from the outside to come through and say, okay, here's what's going to need to happen in order to fix this. Um, you know what I'm saying?
because I think definitely everything within DCI probably someone like that is going to be pretty beneficial. The stuff outside of the core gets to me is a little bit trickier because you can't kind of control what each core is doing financially
Hmm.
because you're putting a cap on what they buy, what they do, or what they create in a sense or whatever. Because you're looking at, okay, it's like look at all the stuff Blue Coat's put out there. It's like, okay, what are their fees for all that to be, you know, for them to do that year in and year out? And then you see what I'm saying? So I don't. I'm just throwing it out. It's like I don't know how much say so DCI in general has on individual core spending and why they're having so many financial issues as an individual core.
I don't. I don't think they can.
Yeah,
I mean, that would be like a rule change to have a. I mean, have to have like a salary cap,
you're right. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
saying?
but
So
but that can't be fair because when you're when your championships are in a specific location, that's
It's
a
gonna cost more.
that's going to cost more for anybody, from the extremities to be there. So, I mean, legally you can't. I mean, I can't say legally you can't do that, but like from a competitive
morally,
standpoint, you can't do that. Um, because
because
I think from their standpoint, from that angle, like yes, Blue Coats is spending all of this money to do that, but yet people are spending that money
to do
to
so they
do
can
that.
do that.
So and that's their choice. Like you don't
Right. And that
have to
makes
go to Blue Coats and spend $5,000. I don't know how much the fees
I think
are,
they're close to it.
but
but
you
that
know,
that makes sense. You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like that's what I was trying. That's what I was saying. It's like I don't think DCI can dictate individual cores and how they are run or why individual cores are
no,
having the issues they're having financially. But for
because
him to come in and handle DCI itself, okay, do that. You know what I'm saying? Get the best facilities, do whatever you got to do for all of that, and so on and so forth. But individual cores, you got to figure out individual cores.
yeah, I don't think he's meant for that. Like
Yeah.
that, and that was kind of where I was going to lead you was if he applied, and like you said, they took him. That means DCI is looking for somebody to run the business
Hmm.
of DCI, not necessarily. And it's probably a smart move that they did pick somebody outside because one, they're going to get a bunch of different ideas. They're going to have people that somebody's in there that's going to be thinking outside the box. But two, he has no ties to any core,
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Ding 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 ding.
because anybody with DCI experience marched somewhere and probably has connections with some. And not to say that this dude doesn't know somebody,
Hmm.
um, but at the same time, like I don't think he's from like a competitive standpoint or like he ain't gonna be making. He's gonna be like a rubber stamp when it comes to that stuff. The
Hmm.
board of directors are be in charge of all of that stuff. But I think from a business standpoint, I think that there's just one looking for somebody who can manage DCI because now you got DCA coming in with them.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's going to be another branch that's going to have to be worked out through. But I see his role as a facilitator, and I'm like, okay, how can I make DCI a brand, like more of
Yeah.
a brand?
Because
And
that's what I think
profitable.
it needs to go. I wouldn't mind it going back. Well,
I
I was
mean,
gonna say going back to TV. I don't know.
I mean, I was going to say if you look at what he has done in the past, he has been um, like marketing director, communications director for USA Football, director of corporate partnerships um, for American College of Sports Medicine, all those things, and then being in a. I think this is what makes it unique for him too is that everywhere he has been, it has been a niche thing, except for USA Football. But like it's been a niche activity, right? So like water ski and wake sports, it's a very niche
Yeah.
sport, right? DCI is very niche activity. So understanding, you know, what it takes to run a business that has a very niche fan base, but also trying to promote it to the next level, I think is going to be his big thing. Like getting different sponsorships into DCI instead of just like, when you look on that back wall, all you see is music. It's all music, right? Which is awesome. I think it's great. But there's a lot of money out there that
Mm.
can be brought in to drive up the revenue that they're getting for DCI. I mean, I bring up disc golf a lot because I play a lot. I listen to podcasts. I watch it. I do all this stuff. But they're going through the same kind of similar thing. They're seeing a lot of growth that's happened recently. They're trying to get more outside sponsors besides the smaller people that know disc golf. Like they just got like Johnsonville, like the brats and
Mhm.
sausages, all them. They've backed a tournament before. LL Bean has done the World Championships that happened in just about a month ago, 2 months ago. But getting in those new sponsorships, I think, is going to be his big goal. Is taking it from a niche activity and niche fan base and trying to reach out to bring in more people. I think it's going to be his goal. The drum corps and the toot toots and the spin spins and the tappy taps, he ain't going to care about. I think it's about bringing in money because who knows what, I don't know what DCI's financials are, but it doesn't hurt to have more money. So I think that's kind of his big goal, his big overarching reason why he was hired.
I mean, you think about it, we've seen wakeboard and water ski events on TV. We see cornhole on TV.
Hmm.
Right?
I mean,
Yep.
and that's not a diss against any of that stuff because I enjoy watching it. Um, but DCI had that short stint of ESPN for I think 2 years,
Hmm.
and they really only showed finals, and
I
it was
was
an
say
edited.
it
It was
wasn't
an
even
edited.
everybody.
No, it wasn't. It was an edited 2 hour package. That's all you got.
And
Um,
that's what ESPN does a lot. Any like fringe, not core sports, it's always a packaged. We're gonna condense it down. I need what I need. Once again, here I go. I'm throwing disc golf out there, but they had the disc golf pro championships was on ESPN2. It was the
Hmm.
final round, but the final round takes like 4 hours. They condense it down to like an hour or so,
Yep.
or something like that, right? So
And they
like,
only followed like 4 or 5 people,
yeah, so like
like the
that's the
top
thing.
card.
Yeah,
Because
so
that's
that's
that's going
Yep.
to be hard for do that to TV for DCI.
yes, exactly.
Because you're going to get a lot of pissed off people. Ain't
mhm.
no way you're going to have finals with 12 groups
But
and only show 7 or 6 or something like that.
here's the thing though, is that that's where like I said, I'm the disc golf a lot. Like it can, the ESPN thing. I think the same thing with DCI. It happened after the event occurred, right? So like for the
Hmm.
disc golf pro tour, it was like for it was like a month later. It aired on ESPN2 condensed down, right? So like for you people that are hardcore, yeah, you're probably still gonna watch it on Flow, which like disc golf has its own streaming service too, right? So you're gonna watch the live stuff. I think the stuff on ESPN is just to get more eyeballs onto
Hmm.
the activity, right? So getting
I
people
could
intrigued
definitely,
with it.
I can definitely see them taking like finals and cutting out the transition time between all the cores and the intermission. Sorry, friends at intermission drum bugle corps, but
We just
like
alienated a fan base.
taking all 12 groups and cutting out all that time in between and the interviews and process and condensing that what 3 4 hour evening into
It'd be
like a
about
2 hour.
well,
I don't know. I don't
it's
know the math on it.
they get 17-minute slots, but each show's about 12 minutes. So
And so you do top five.
12 shows. Well, 12 minute
I'm
shows is
saying even if they did the
144
whole
minutes. That's around
12,
2 hours.
they could condense finals into a 2 hour segment and play it a month later like they do the disc golf finals, and people eyes are going to get on it.
I don't.
Because you gotta
Like
you
it didn't
gotta
even have to
just
be
account for
ESPN.
you
Didn't
still
have to be
gotta account
ESPN.
for all the commercials and stuff.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I was thinking you can do like top five or, you know, top 6, 8. I don't know. But I mean, like
Listen,
Will's right. You got to put
they
more.
could get some big corporate sponsors. It's going to be the 2026 DCI Drum Corps International World Championships presented by
See, I think
Steak and Shake,
I mentioned that.
or some company that's based around Indy would be who I would go for.
Well,
Like,
see, I mentioned something like that. It was like early on in the life of the podcast, but like, having these uh contests sponsored by somebody, whether it's
well, some of them
local
are.
or regional. Yeah, but
A
like
lot of them are sponsored by uniform
that's what
groups
I'm saying. But it's
or
by
Pearl
music.
or
That's the thing, is that it's by music ones, right? So if you can get sponsorships outside of that, to start sponsoring those, then you can start cutting down costs
Hmm.
on your
Our question,
buildings, right?
our question would be: is what gets sponsors to want to sponsor something?
You just plaster the shit out of your name everywhere,
Well, I
right?
mean,
That's
No, I
what it
mean,
is.
no, I'm
think
saying
about like
what gets them to want to sponsor for you?
yeah, like imagine this, like Jif peanut butter and Smucker's grape jelly or strawberry jelly with how much PB&J is consumed on tour. Like
Like that
that would
stuff
be a
makes
group
sense.
that you would go for
Like
and be
do
like,
something
hey,
like that. Do Under
like
Armour
we're
or
helping
do
you out.
New
Body Armor
Balances.
or what's the popsicles that have the
Oh,
electrolytes in it?
the
Squincher.
Yeah.
squirt.
Like stuff like that. Every core has Dorito chicken. Let's have the 2024 DCI finals sponsored by Doritos. Like Sam's Club, come on, Costco, let's go.
I
Well,
mean,
Ian, that would be the thing with the sponsorship, kind of along the lines. It's like it has to make sense.
Yeah.
Brought to
You
you
know,
by Copper Tone Sunscreen
cornhole has Johnson, but like, what do you normally? Where do you normally play cornhole at?
yeah,
at a cookout.
A cookout. So the sponsors would have to make sense.
yeah, and you got to
And
start
they also
small with that too. Like you can't just go
Yeah.
into Doritos, Under Armour, stuff like that. You build up, right? So you show that like what your product is
Hmm.
worthy of having a sponsorship tied to it, right? So you start regional and you start branching out from there, and then finally
Yeah.
you'll get some of those bigger fish to bite on those things, right? So like maybe your local contests are more regionalized sponsorships, but then like Atlanta, San Antonio, your opening nights, all those are you're getting more of the world national sponsorships.
Atlanta could be Chick-fil-A.
Like
because it's like you get a brand and they're asking you, it's like, okay, how much exposure is my brand going to get if I sponsor you? Because I can tell you right, we can do the biggest show possible in Texas, I don't know, San Antonio, whichever show, and then have everybody and their mama watch it on Flow, right? Now you go and put one Nike shirt on LeBron James, and you talking about almost billions.
exactly. Yeah.
Hmm.
All he got to do is one commercial.
Yep.
So that's what I'm talking about. Like, okay, exposure. And I wonder if that's what sponsors would think about too,
Yeah, it's got to be
in order to say yes to, hey, okay, we will dish you out this much money annually. I don't know how that works or whatever, but yes, we will sponsor you, blah, blah, blah. So how much is this DCI thing on TV, or how much does it get exposed to people? You know what I'm saying? And because
Hmm.
you're talking about the martial arts community.
yeah.
So what I'm hearing is we need LeBron James to wear a blue coat shirt and warm up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Come on, Ohio,
Basically.
let's go.
But that's the thing is that like I think that's going to be his job. That's going to be his main job is to get more eyeballs on the activity to generate that hey, look, this is how many we had 600,000 people watching uh our San Antonio show, right? That's if you get commercial package, we can get all this stuff. You can sponsor this activity every
Yeah.
time it comes on. We'll say something. That's something also. This is kind of off topic a little. Well, not off topic, but I think it's smart for DCI. Is those bigger shows? They need to do what they do for opening night for those bigger shows, like
With
having
the interviews and
announcers,
stuff.
having interviews, having
Make it more
talking to
televised
people.
or television esque.
Yeah, more of the TV production with those things because I feel like that's something that you know
Especially it fills that time
yeah, core is
in
drum corps
between.
is kind of a weird it's very athletic, but it's still an activity at the same time. But then you want your broadcast to kind of have that production feel to it. And right now it's just we're throwing a camera on top of the thing, which I love. Don't get me wrong, I like that, but it's as soon as the core over, we're gonna jam 1,000 commercials down your throats as much as we possibly can
Yeah.
for that. Why can't we stop and talk about what that show was? What did the person get from that? Right, those kind of things. There, I think that is something that might be thought of too is like, how do we up the production value for, you know, those bigger shows? Because they do for the first night and world championships, you know, and I know that costs a lot of money. But I feel like if you think about exposure and you're wanting to get it on stuff in like ESPN or CBS Sports or something like that, having that production value already in place where they have to then you can be like, hey, look, we already had this package for you. Here it is. And you just got to do it. You know what I mean? Like,
It's a catch-22 because if you do that, and then we talked about you got all these sponsors. Where's
yes.
my commercial airing?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So and I think that's probably part of the reason why TV hasn't picked up on it yet, because there's not a really good conducive way to do it. Most
Yeah.
sporting events is action, action, action.
Mm-hmm.
Commercial break when there's not action.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so if we have action and we have interview, but then you have body armor, he's like, I need my stuff. you know,
Yeah.
Well,
it's one of those
that's
like
where I think you can be smart about it. And I mean, you just do post production on it, right? Like, you know, you can stream it day of, and you stream, you can get what's, you know, is given to you, right? So once again, I keep going back to disc golf, but like they have a live stream. It's 4 hours long. They have they have people talking over. They're interviewing people. It's 4 hours. They might put a commercial break in there every once in a while, right? But then you can go watch the post production of it, and you get commercials and all that stuff that's in it, right? So like you do something like that, you know, that could be a way to work around it. Where like if you want to show it more in different audience, it's it's going to go on this time. I don't know. It does take where there's less eyeballs on it if it's not live, but
I don't. You're not. I don't think we're ever. I don't think we'll ever see live DCI
no,
on cable TV.
no,
Um, and flow marking has the market on that. Um, it's kind of a mix of everything that's been said here, as far as it's like if you can package regionals, if you can do like regional packages, or just pick a show a week that has a decent amount of groups, and like you said, do kind of
Like
the
a
post
one
production,
to watch.
something like that. Um,
You're welcome.
but it has to be steady. It has to be like even if it's on at 11 p.m. on Sunday night or something like that. If it has to be something that happens weekly where people are used to seeing it
Mm-hmm.
and know that it's coming on. That way they can either DVR it or they can like
Mm-hmm.
actually watch it when it comes out.
Yeah.
And then that's where you do your interviews after shows
yes,
and all of that stuff. Um,
Yep.
like that's if they want to go that route, that's what it's going to have to take um, for that to work. I I don't know if I don't know for him. Kind of circling back around to the new CEO. I don't know for him if TV is like the big plan.
Mm-hmm.
I think probably if and we don't know if there's any financial issues or not. DCI has never said anything.
no,
I haven't heard anything to be concerned about the actual people talk about the financial status of cores themselves, but not of
The organization.
the organizations
DCI. Yeah.
themselves, but not DCI
As a
as a
whole.
competitive unit,
Yeah.
which is a good thing
Yeah.
because there's at least enough cores to have shows. Because we got to think there's more cores now than there were when we started watching.
Yeah.
Because open class has blown up so much, and now you have more open class groups from like Cali
Mm-hmm.
able to travel to Worlds. So I think for him is making sure that DCI is stable enough to where if they need to help anybody, they can. But also, okay, how do we push the activity forward to where we get more cores?
yeah. See,
I
that's what
think.
I was gonna. Sorry, say. Go ahead. Finish your
No,
thought.
I was just gonna say. I think his thing is just to grow activity, and him having a outside perspective on things could help out a whole lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's a very unique position to be in where like you have this organization, but then the cores run themselves. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no like players union or like anything that kind of navigates how these cores kind of operate. It's kind of maybe there is. I don't know. I could be completely wrong, but like
I mean, there's rules, obviously,
There's rules,
yeah, but like
but
nothing like
nobody.
and that's how you get your classification. Actually, is
Yeah,
how you run as a business.
yeah,
It's not even how good the core is. It's
yeah.
as a functioning organization, how
Hmm.
well you ran.
yeah.
Hmm.
So like I guess what I mean when I say that is that it's more like it's not like a it, DCI is not just like constantly just like think as long as you're running the way you're supposed to do it, you're good. There's no one like making sure that like uh you know what the fees are or what production all that kind of stuff that goes into it. They're still like independent, but in order to compete, you have to be with this organization. It's a weird like dynamic, I think. Um, I don't know. Maybe it's not as weird as I think it is, but it's they
It
are
was baseball.
yeah. I mean, I guess it is baseball, but like like you're only it sounds bad. You're only good with your talent and the money that you have for the organization. So like like you said, does DCI like one of the things I need to think about is do they try to step in with this kind of like trying to get more in my opinion it's to get more money into the activity, right? So is that to offset tour costs? Like is it going to be like a divvy up between those kind of things to the cores that way more people can participate, or the fees get capped and DCI eats some of that money? Like those are some things that like I think might not be thought about now, but as the price of the activity gets higher, the less amount of people that are able to do it. So what does DCI do to make sure? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's hard to
I
say
don't.
that, but I mean it has to be said.
I don't
It's
think you're
becoming a
gonna.
thing.
DCI is a weird conglomerate of professional athleticism and amateur athleticism because because they have donors,
Yeah,
and also the job of a DCI organization is not a drum corps is not to make money. They're nonprofit, so it's this weird amalgamation of things that because I mean, you can't. Okay, you put a salary cap on. Well, what's keeping a core alumni saying, "All right, here's $1 million"?
Hmm.
You think you ain't gonna take it? So
Right.
like
yeah.
that's it's just it's a lot to unpack. I really think it's more of a business decision than it is a business infrastructure ex- adventure as far as just making sure DCI stays afloat with all of the changes that are coming on.
I mean they're going to have to address the issue of money for chords eventually, right? Because like there's only so much fundraising you can do. We all been there. Like there's only so much that can cap it, and and $1 million donation would be fantastic. And I'm not even talking about like if they want to give that organization, you give to that organization, right? And I know like it's a nonprofit, so where do you put that stuff? But like also like you know,
I don't think they can force a court to do
It's
any
a
of that. It doesn't
it's
matter.
a
So like
nonprofit. It's
if
as
a
long
if
as you're
a
spending the money.
if a court don't come out, court don't come out.
yeah,
Like
I know.
DCI can't help change what that court does with their money in order if they stay afloat or not.
Well, I'm not even talking. I'm not even talking about like the core staying afloat. What I'm talking about is getting the pool of people that are able to afford to participate is getting smaller with the increase of the dues. Like we've seen how much they have cost as we go through. So like the opportunity is not available to for a lot of people as it has been, let's say 15, 20 years ago.
That ain't DCI's fault. DCI can't
I,
do nothing about it.
I understand that much. I understand that part, but like when when does an organization that hosts these events have to step in to try to address the issue? You know what I mean? Like that's
They
something that
can't. They can't because you're also talking about evolution of humanity because everything is going to evolve. It's going to get worse. It's going to cost more. It's going to do this. It's going to do that. So if you're going to start putting caps on everything, you can see decrease in show designs. You're going to see a whole lot of decrease in this just to try to benefit another person to try out or to get another person to do this. The problem is these kids want world class all the time. Nobody wants to go to these smaller groups and then work their way up and go through that trial phase. There are plenty of open class, plenty of lower class, world class tiers that are not out the wazoo in prices or whatever else. But you got to want to go to those groups. You got to want to go to that core. And for DCI or any other group to say, okay, we need to change this because it's too expensive. Kids don't want to come unless that core starts seeing a decrease in membership. Then that core will start changing their own rules of how they're running the organization because they're going to say, hey, maybe we need to not do this because we ain't got the kids no more or this, that, and the other. So DCI themselves won't really do nothing. So all this stuff that's been going on with these cores has to be fixed in house. They got to figure it out because because look at it, COVID is what chopped up half of these groups. That's why SCV didn't come out. That's why Oregon didn't come out. That's why a lot of these groups didn't come out. So what happened to the world and everybody in it affected us. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And what I'm learning up here, especially in the PNW, is that affected the schools. So I just went to my first contest today up here in the West, and to come to find out and to know how many schools up here are struggling financially is wild. And it's literally all because of the pandemic. They said it was nowhere close to this. And they said once everything shut down and the pandemic happened, they said that's when all of this just hit the fan. So now it's like they got to clean it in
for a second. Then what is the purpose of DCI? Like what is their
DCI's purpose is a circuit. It's just a place to host. It's an outlet for groups to have a competitive educational performance opportunity. So, like DCA, it's the same thing. It's just like a different. You used to have the NBA and the CBA and the ABA. It's just a different version of that. Now, but the difference is those organizations were for profit, so they would do things to help boost the league because they do have revenue share, and DCI, I believe, has revenue share to an extent. But ultimately, like for a professional organ, like a sports team, like you're trying to spend your money the best way to have the best team. And with we talked about baseball. You can pay somebody $7 million a game if you want to, as long as you can afford it. And that's just kind of the way it is. Like for a core, if whatever their fee is getting too much, people won't go. Like if they don't think they can fundraise it, they just won't go. And that's where the disadvantage is people will pay $5,000 to go to Blue Devils, but they're not going to pay $5,000 to go to Scouts. They're not going to.
Exactly.
So the DC the core itself has to realize what is our worth. What are we offering? Is the stuff that we're offering worth people paying that much money to come to? If DCI starts dipping into that, you're going to see groups like BD pull out.
Mm-hmm. They know people ain't gonna have it because you're trying to tell somebody how to do something that they own or they own basically.
Right, you're gonna start seeing a lot of people like BD Apollo pull out. Vanguard maybe even Blue Coach might even pull out. Because you got to think also BD They have their own whole
They might as well have their own
thing.
DCI.
They have their own whole thing
This
over
blue
there.
stuff is outrageous.
Like if DCI shut down today, they could probably start a West Coast circuit of their own
By
and be
themselves.
just fine. And be just fine. Blue Coast, I think they're getting to a point to where they could probably do something like that in the Midwest. Like it's there's a lot of nuts and bolts that go in behind the scenes as far as like DCI and cores, but DCI is just a governing body that deals with rules and gives them an order. It's like KMEA. KMEA can't tell a school, well, you can't use electronics. I mean, I guess they could, but like they can't tell you what type of electronics to use.
That's fair. That's true.
So it's, and I understand what you're saying is, but like it's how you run your organization, and that's why you see, that's why Sound Sport is a thing. Is so groups can come in at entry level, learn how all of this mess works, just get kids interested in the activity at an affordable level. And then if they want to do bigger and better things, because there are some Sound Sport groups that are better than the open class groups.
I promise you.
But to do bigger and better things, then they have that option. But you have the core's job is to market themselves to where whatever they charge, the student feels like they're getting their money's worth. And some people know that balance.
Mm-hmm.
Or some cores, I should say, know that balance and know what they can do. I think DCI might step in if they start to see a lot of cores drop and they can't field shows. That's when DCI is going to start caring. It's like, what? Okay, this show folded. Why can't we get shows to this particular contest? So they're going to look at, do we have too many shows? This is where DCI is going to be as far as like that type of stuff. The main things, because I don't know if there's like entry fees or anything like that to go to a certain amount of shows, but like they're going to look and they're going to be like, okay, we got 6 shows in the West Coast, but one of them only has 4 or 5 cores in it. Is that worth our resources to run that show? And if it's not, then they're going to start checking shows.
So I wonder if that's what he's going to start doing, though. You know what I mean? Like, if we're looking at like, make sure things are full, we're looking at marketing and stuff like that. Is that going to be a tendency to happen more often now? I don't know.
I think like I said, I think his thing is just he's going to make sure the books are running the way they should, and they're not wasting their money. I think he's going to try to get a couple of more partnerships. That may be outside, because they can. I mean, if it is a music or marching arts thing, and it's worth the quality of it, DCI already got them.
Yeah,
they do. So, but they got to squeeze out all these commercials somewhere. So, like that's why we see all the commercials in the breaks. I think he might try to tap into a few more. He may try to get some of these, maybe, if not, because are all the regionals sponsored?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so like, and I think the Master of the Summer Games ones are too, I think. So now we're just talking about local shows. So is this, I don't know, are they going to start wearing patches on their uniforms? Or that's the thing, like, it's like just
WNBA or soccer, like just have the logo on this shirt or whatever.
Yeah.
So I can't tell who's who now. So we'll just put an advertisement
throw it on there. Throw it on there.
You knew that was coming.
Oh man, boy!
But I think they wanted a stable, business-minded person just to be at the helm, because with these huge organizations like this, one person doesn't make all the decisions. Like, I've learned that being
that's why they have president-elect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I've learned this being a president-elect at KMEA is people are like, well, you should do. I'm like, man, this is a band problem. So you need to talk to the band chair.
Mm-hmm.
Or this is a string problem. You need to talk to the orchestra chair. Or this is a elementary K through
Mm-hmm.
5 problem. So you need to like people don't understand a lot of times the chain of command, even in our own government.
Oh, we ain't got
Boy,
that much time for that.
let's go ahead and bypass
Ain't got
that one because we'll be here
I'm
for
just
nowhere
3
saying.
near
hours.
enough
Um,
support time for that.
I'm just saying. So like if it's a rule change, that ain't the CEO. That's the board of directors, and they probably have somebody in charge of that type of thing, or they're the committee. You know, like there's somebody in the chain of command that whose job is that particular thing. So I think he's just going to make sure that everything. I think he's a non-biased party who will see things for what they are with a fresh, clear set of eyes. And I think that won't. I don't think that can hurt DCI.
No.
No.
I don't think. I don't think it can. I think it's good. And I'm not saying Dan Atchison wasn't that dude. But I think if DCI is trying to go to the next level, whatever that looks like, because nobody knows, because we haven't been there, then having somebody outside of the activity will be good for it. Would be good for it. And these problems that could come up, he's probably already thinking about solutions. I'm sure, I hope, because there's a lot of things coming down the pipe. I mean, be looking out for something along the lines of safety coming.
Oh God.
Yes,
My head
that's a
went
big one.
straight to it.
Yep.
That's
Head went straight to it.
that's coming.
Because we got
And
too
I
many
think
shows
within
this
the
year.
year.
You had too many shows this year where the first 3 shows nobody had everybody on the field. How?
Yeah.
How you come out your first show and you don't have everybody there?
Yeah, I'm really interested in seeing because the winter meetings happen January, February, somewhere around there, right?
I have to look.
Yeah, I'm really interested in seeing what like comes down from that. I think we're going to see a lot of safety stuff happening.
Yeah, this with things that have happened over the past few years. There's just going to be some things that have to be looked at, and some policies that are going to have to be changed for the better. They're good things. It's going to be annoying for some groups, but it's going to be the right thing to do. Um, but it's coming. It's coming, and when it's announced, I can talk a little bit more about it. But yeah, there's some stuff coming down the pipe that it's time.
Mm-hmm.
It's time. So, but I'm excited to see what he does. I really am.
Mm-hmm.
Change is scary, but it can be refreshing at the same time. And just like anything else, going it with let them mess up before you don't like them. Like I'm not saying I haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
Whether people like the idea or not. So if you have people are watching or listening, if you have a thought about what you think is going to happen with them, what are your thoughts about hiring these outside of the DCI world? Hit us up in the comments and let us know below. Because, like I said, I don't know the dude, so I was like, that's kind of cool, interesting. That works out,
Yep.
and it won't take long to know. It will not take long to know. So, so yeah, you got that. People are already making staff changes.
Already, man.
There's a lot to go in. I think Cavies like what they had last year,
Mm-hmm.
and I think a lot of them are coming back. I think
the whole design team's coming back from last year. I think.
I
Not all of
know.
them.
I saw for sure cadets are bringing the exact same group back,
Maybe
which
that's
I
who I
think is
saw.
a very smart move.
I think that might be I just have my C's mixed up.
yeah. And then Madison announced their staff. I saw that.
You see who went back.
I did. I did.
So Cabby's lost one.
Um, but
But they brought back everyone they could have. right? They didn't let anyone. Did they let anyone go? Or did they? You know what I mean? That's weird
I
way to
couldn't
say
call it
it.
if they let them go or not. People maybe just left.
Majority of their design team is there from last year, I think.
I know Scouts uh, got back on Jeremy Hunt and Mark
Mhm.
Waymire, so I'm pretty dope for that.
Is it
See what they do.
Academy needs a new is it a core director, right? Is it Academy?
Mm,
Is it them? Is it them that had the announcement for new core director?
Yeah.
I
I
don't
think
know.
so. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, a lot of some DCI news popping up around here, and it'll trickle in. I mean, hell, uh, the auditions will start next month, I think.
I was say November. November
November
start.
camps are here.
Yeah, it's crazy to think
It's-
about. And then show
so
announcements will start like in March or April.
yeah, I feel like somebody announced super early last year. Was it
It was the
Troops?
Troopers, yeah. Troopers now is like the
Yeah.
day after the finals. It
Not
felt
playing
like,
around, like,
right,
trying to let you fool. We was coming.
right.
So yeah, so a lot of stuff going on. So um, we are in the middle of BOA. We're not going to talk about it today or on this particular episode, but there's a lot of Texas. That's a lot of Texas. Just
It's all you
BOA
need to
has
know.
changed their
Little,
name to the
little
state of
sprinkle of
Texas.
bands
Indiana.
of Texas
Bands of Texas,
Band,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
band
friends.
Texas of America,
Uh,
sprinkled in with the other 49 states.
yeah, just
It's like,
Jesus.
are you kidding me?
Um,
I don't think it's even 49. I think it's just like 4.
4.
Something like that.
yeah, that's the
Bands of
thing.
America, but we only mean 5 states.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a different world down there, man. It is a
Listen, me and my brother and one of our friends, we drove through to go to Dallas one year to go tour the Cowboy Stadium and stuff because my brother's a big Cowboys fan. And the stadiums at these high schools are insane. I mean, insane. Like, and I was like, well, that marching band's probably spectacular. They're paying their percussion head $35,000 a year to be their caption head, and
no.
just crazy, man.
I could go down there and make my salary probably plus a little bit more because of the cost of living and just teach percussion all day,
Yeah. Like literally.
especially with a master's degree.
And that
Like
gold medal.
said, I don't know if you talked to Butter, but the stuff I hear from him is just outrageous, dude.
See, that's the scary part, Chris.
No,
Mic
that's
could
the
be
scary part.
could be a commodity. That's the
It's that gold medal, man. Oh, excuse me. Let me take this off real quick. Lay it down
Yeah,
on the table.
let me polish this up
Yeah. Oh,
before.
sorry. My
don't
bad.
don't tempt me, please. Yeah, I like being a little guy. It makes it more fun.
It's true.
Makes it more fun. So, so we'll probably do like a mid season BOA review. I say probably for our next one just because that's hot and heavy. That'll give me some time to YouTube some groups and
Yeah.
get my feelings out.
Also, I would love to get some suggestions for some BOA React videos.
Yeah.
So if you've got any that you saw in person or that just really stick out that you've seen and you want us to do some reactions to them, let us know in the comments or on our social media. Send us a link, and because I definitely want to get more into the BOA scene.
Yeah. Yeah. It's harder for us because we're all teaching on Saturday, so we
Yes.
don't get to watch the shows.
We're almost done.
And
Got like 3 weeks
we're
left.
all well, y'all do. Um,
Oh yeah, you got another 3 months.
yeah,
So,
it never ends. It never ends, but it's okay. but yeah, it'll BOH season will be over before you know it. Of course, here's the crazy thing: Seattle just started out there with Will in California. I think my buddy who teaches out in California is like, "Yeah, first contest day today." I'm like,
Yeah,
"You've had 4 shows already. What?"
yeah.
That's because they start after Labor Day, so like they got pushed
Washington.
back.
Yeah, our first show was last weekend.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
This is the second show.
Our last week was
So-
like week 4 for us, right? Was it week 4 last week?
Yeah, we finished week 4.
Yeah.
Just today would have been week 5, but there were no Kentucky shows. So
No. Oh,
That was
hey,
bye week.
quick
Yeah,
shout
lucky bye
outs to our alma mater for getting the invite to the London New Year's Parade. Throw that out there. So WKU got the invite to participate in the London's New Year's Eve Parade, which is like the Macy's Day's Parade equivalent over there in England. So that's really cool. So shout out to them. People who are watching, have fun. I'm uber jealous that I don't get to go, but
I got to go.
Oh, you did the you did the New Year's Parade
you did that
in
too.
high school for Hoptown?
Yep.
That's cool.
Hoptown got invited.
Well,
Hoptown got to go one year. I know Warren Central went one year.
I got invited to the Richardsville Christmas Parade. That's what I got one time. that's all I ever got.
That parade's about the length of my living room.
Riding on ATVs and horses. And,
it's somebody's trailer with their Little League baseball team in the back end.
right.
Throwing
man.
candy to their mamas.
Let's go and cut off. Dog.
You play the tap off to the fight song, and then you're done with the parade.
right.
Listen, I would go to that parade every year.
Right.
I hate parades.
They're not the funnest. I would say that.
They're really not.
You gotta
I
do
can
them.
imagine like for like Will, like you're rehearsing nonstop playing shows. They're like, all right, here we go, parade.
Yeah.
And like, I
think
couldn't
we did
imagine.
2? Did we do 2 parades? I feel like we did 2.
Doesn't Madison usually do like that big 4th of July one?
Yeah.
And
All the courts do.
Yeah. There's a huge one in Madison.
Yeah,
I
I'm
remember
pretty sure
that.
there's 2 that we went to. Regardless, they all suck. The only reason why London was funny because it was in London. It's like, yay, we're here for a parade, but really we're here on vacation.
Right?
Dude, the worst feeling about a parade is when it always happens when we do the Veterans Day parade, right?
Mhm.
And you always got put
always
behind the
cold.
horses. No, it's
You're
cold
behind
behind
the horses.
the horses, and they just crap everywhere, and you're just like dodging landmines, dude. It's like the worst thing ever. Hated it. It was cool though because all the high schools got together and was in one gigantic band. That was
I
always
think
fun.
y'all should do y'all's parade on Scottsville Road.
I think
I'm just
no.
saying.
I think not.
The whole length.
Traffic's bad enough over there. People don't know how to
Shut-
drive. People wouldn't
shut it
know
all
there's a
down.
parade.
Shut it all down.
Oh, I must have hit a speed bump or something. Just taking everyone out as I go through. I hate that road with a passion.
Boy, I avoid it at all costs if I can.
As far as I go is a lot of you guys don't know this if you watch, but in Bowling Green there's a Best Buy. And that's literally where I stop. I don't go past there. Everything else,
I
we'll
literally
go somewhere
judge
else.
everything from Best Buy. What's
Yep.
Best Buy? Oh, Rafferty's? Let's go, Sam.
Yep.
Yep.
It's the only way I know how to get home.
That's like, I don't go. Stop at Rafferty's and head on.
Like, took that back road one day. I said, where the hell he going? I said, oh, I'm lost.
Yeah. I don't know a lot of them.
Where'd you end up? I ended up in Lexington. I don't know. I don't know what happened.
No. I did that one time leaving Murray. All I know is I saw a sign saying, you are now leaving Kentucky. Leaving who?
Excuse me.
You
You
went
go
the
to
wrong way.
Metropolis. That's where you're going. Metropolis. I've done
Yeah.
that.
Because-
I was freaked.
To the casino.
This was like when they first built that new bypass. And I just didn't remember where it was or something. I don't know. I said never again.
Stick to my roads.
My ass in Hoptown. Y'all doing too much.
So, what road did you guys get lost in on your tour?
Leave it in the
Not in
comments. Let us know.
What rinky
Make
dink
sure you-
Christmas parade do you do?
Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and there's another one.
X.
That's not Twitch.
It's not Twitter anymore. It's X.
Twitter. It's Twitter.
X.
Will never in
Twitter.
history ever be called X.
I'm calling it Twitter.
I will just let you know on this video's intro, it is now changed to an X.
Twitter.
Just let you know.
Better not change it to no X.
It's changed.
Trash.
I made it like just like he did on the that big giant sign he made. So when the intro video comes on, it's just a big white light flashing as much as it possibly can, so you can't see the rest of the intro video. That's what
awesome.
Cool. Be ready for that.
Could lose all 3 viewers we got. All right.
Right.
Anyway, you can also listen to us on Spotify. Like I said, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and all that good jazz. For Chris, Zach, and Will, my name is Cedric. This has been an episode I don't know.
53? 53? 54?
I don't know.
That came out smooth, too.
Yeah. Hey, listen.
I like it.
I didn't even say it at the beginning if y'all didn't catch that.
Hold on. Before we go, I'll look it up. We are on episode 54.
It's 54.
It's 54, guys.
Cool. Episode 54. I had something funny to say, but it's highly inappropriate. So, with that being said, I've said, with Chris, Zach, and Will, thank you guys for listening and watching. We'll see you next time. We are out.